Hi, Mr. McAndrew. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Scoop Casidy. You know, I've been doing a lot of thinking recently about your plans for covering the 1956 presidential conventions. And I sort of think you could use me on your staff. You see, I've been figuring it this way. You, CBS, and ABC are all going to be covering the same story, so it's a great chance for you and NBC to show that you have the real know-how and ability to draw the biggest audience. When the ratings come out, some of your points are going to be the loyal and steady NBC fans, and some are going to be people who just happen to tune in and stick with you, and others are going to be people who think they're getting the best coverage by watching NBC. Now, to me, this is a very interesting observation. Many of your viewers are people who think they're getting the best coverage. This means that just giving the best coverage isn't good enough. You've got to convince the viewer that he's getting it if you want him to stick with you. And if you want him in your audience from the start, you've got to start convincing him many weeks before. Of course, you've got to follow through and give him good coverage, and I know that you wouldn't want to do anything else. However, I'll bet your biggest interest will be in securing the largest audience. It's just this point that started me thinking, how can you get the largest audience? And when I asked that question, I got my big idea. If you want the biggest audience, there's a terrifically large mass that not only has never been drawn upon in the past conventions, but represents a tremendous pressure group for getting others to watch too. And you want to know who it is? It's the kids. Yep, all the kids who make the folks buy Wheaties, take them to the circus, get this and buy so-and-so and stuff. These little monsters are going to be without any TV to watch for 2 whole weeks if you don't do something about it. I should say, if you and I don't do something about it. You see, this is where I figure in. All the other guys, CBS, ABC, etc., are still thinking that conventions are for adults and how they can best cover it from the adult point of view. Well, I'm sure they've forgotten the kids, because how the heck are you going to make all that stuff interesting to them? Well, you can, Bill. Mr. McAndrew, if you hire me. You see, I'm a special correspondent just for the kids. You've already got the Carlton boards, Leaf Eads, Beatty, and all the rest for the grown-ups, and I'll be just what it takes to round out your staff. You see, I'm an animated cartoon character, and you know how that gets the kids right off the bat. And I might say, you know how that gets the adults too, don't you? Well, the reason I'm animated, rather than a puppet or something like that, is because animated cartoons offer the greatest field for fantasy and imagination. Now, my mother, Dick Edmondson, I call him Mother because he conceived me. Well, anyway, Mother Edmondson works for Chester Rackey in staff engineering, and he says there are some technical tricks that you can do with me that'll make the CBS corner insert about as exciting as a $40 winner on Striking Rich. For example, I can appear in a scene with a real-life commentator. I could be sitting right beside him, carry on a conversation, jump up on his shoulder, climb over onto a TV monitor behind him, and then maybe jump into the monitor and invite the kids to follow me and see the commercial. And then you can dolly in on the monitor and switch to a commercial which could feature me as maybe one of the assistant announcers. Now, there are lots of other things that I can do for you, Bill. I can be a guest star on all the NBC kids shows and appear on station breaks for a month or so before the convention. This way, I can help to drum up viewer interest. I'll say something like this. Hey, gang, did you know that something awful important is going to take place in a few weeks? Well, hundreds of people from all over our country are going to get together and have a big meeting to make a great big decision. They're going to choose a man who they think should be president. And you know how important a man our president is. Well, this is something that lots of people are going to want to see. And you should too. So NBC is going to televise all that takes place at the meeting, and even more. They, NBC that is, have hired a lot of reporters to help your mom and dad keep informed. And they've hired me to help you to understand just what's going on. You see, kids, NBC feels they owe something to you and your future to help you enjoy and learn about such a big and important event. And so, don't forget to watch for me when your folks watch the conventions. You know, I think your folks will be interested in what I'll have to say, too, because I have a lot of interesting stories and facts about the history of these conventions, and a lot of funny stories, too. So watch for me at the conventions on NBC. So you see, Bill, I can make a big pitch to the kids, and yet I can be in good taste and whimsical, and even the adults will be happy to see me during some of those dull spots that you know you've experienced in the past. if you really use me to the fullest, you'll see you can have somebody real big on your staff, because I could be used for many things besides the conventions. There's the inaugurations, election night, and I could be your special reporter for the kids on Camel News and other shows. And don't forget the unlimited merchandising possibilities I have, Bill. You and NBC should be very interested in this now that you've bought a company which specializes in this sort of stuff. If I wear a hat, there you have a Scoop Casidy hat. If a raincoat, well, of course all reporters wear raincoats, we have a special raincoat. Not to mention comic books, official political convention crayon books, pins, pencils, neckties, ice cream, and on and on and on. Oh, and another thing, I was talking with Don Gillis, and he's got a lot of good ideas, too. Why, he even thinks he has some music that we could use. And you know what a hit Davy Crockett was. Well, there's always a chance we could hit upon something like that, too. So, that's my story, Bill. I know animation costs money and will require a great deal of time, but the payoff will be in the points and the ratings. Also, there are some more gimmicks that Edmondson has worked out which will permit a simulated animated spot where I can keep up with the topical subjects of the day during the conventions. Thanks for giving me your time, and I hope you'll be seeing me soon.